Oh man, that was a good nap. And I mean a really good nap. Holy crap, it's been too long. Well, hopefully things haven't changed too much. What's that? YouTube got rid of the dislike button? Well, that solves absolutely nothing. Well, at least I can get a video ready. I wonder what time of the year it is. Oh, dang it! I need to get gifts and decorate the tree and do other holiday things! Oh man, that was a bad idea! A bad idea! Ah, Christmas. The time of mass consumerism and stupid think pieces on whether or not it's politically correct to say Merry Christmas, even though nobody cares. And of course that means to bust out the holiday classics like Home Alone, Miracle on 34th Street, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Pottersville. Oh, what's that? You've never heard of Pottersville before? Well, have I got the movie for you. Pottersville is the strangest Christmas movie ever made, and I mean that. It's a movie that defies all logic as to why the hell it was even made. What struck me at first is the title, Pottersville. A Christmas movie named Pottersville. My first thought was, does this have something to do with It's a Wonderful Life? Because if you all recall, Pottersville is the new name of Bedford Falls after George Bailey wishes he was never born. So is this like a sequel or some spin-off where we see Christmas in Pottersville? The answer is no. This has absolutely nothing to do with It's a Wonderful Life. The name means absolutely nothing other than fooling anyone stupid enough to watch this on Netflix thinking that it's related to one of the most beloved Christmas movies, actually scratch that, one of the most famous movies ever made. And if you probably realized by now, you notice that the cast for this is ridiculous. I mean, look at this. Judy Greer, Christina Hendricks, Ron Perlman, Ian McShane, Thomas Lennon, and perhaps most shocking of all, Michael Shannon. Michael freaking Shannon. In the same year he starred in the Oscar-winning movie The Shape of Water, he stars in what looks like a below-average Hallmark movie. Like, how did these people manage to be involved in this? I guess they just wanted to work with the director, who must be amazing with actors. Who directed this? Seth Hendrickson. Okay, what else has he done? Goreville, USA, The Scumbag Barbers of Rotterdam, and Zamboni Man. What a filmography. Well, as it turns out, this guy has some connections, as he's friends with Michael Shannon, who not only starred in Zamboni Man, but also his production company helped produce it, along with Ron Perlman, who is credited as the executive producer. You're probably wondering about the rest of the behind-the-scenes history, but somehow in the digital age, I could find jack shit about this movie. I'm not even joking, I could barely find out anything about this movie. The history of this is somehow tighter than the security at the White House. God, I hope somebody laughed at that. The only info I could find is that Netflix bought the exclusive streaming rights, lucky them, and this was partially financed by the SUNY Polytech Institute in New York as a part of the Central New York Film Hub, a studio spearheaded by Governor Andrew Cuomo as a way to build a place for filmmakers to work in Central New York. The studio lost $750,000 on this movie and eventually sold the studio for $1. Oh yeah, look at that fake snow composite in the frame. This is Maynard, a mild-mannered store clerk. Look, he goes down to shovel off the snow, only to have to shovel more snow. What a schmuck. He's just a nice little store clerk that lives in small-town USA, but not like fun small-town USA, more like close to poverty small-town USA. So basically something like The Last Picture Show. But Christmas. On the bright side, he works with every female lead in a rom-com's best friend, Judy Greer, is in a loving marriage with Joan from Mad Men. Lucky bastard. In fact, he's going to leave the store early now to go have a romantic evening with her. He's got the flowers and the wine and...
No way. Did she get a puppy?
Wow, she didn't even discuss this with you. I mean, I assume you're okay with it, but getting a dog is a huge commitment. You can't just...
Did we get a puppy?
Maynard!
Connie.
I don't think they got a dog.
What's going on?
I can explain this.
You can explain why you're dressed up like a rabbit and having sex with a squirrel?
I'm a wolf.
Yeah, yes, it's really going there.
Well, it's a kind of a club where we...
You dress up like a squirrel and have sex with my wife club?
I'm a wolf.
Oh, please tell me that's Ron Perlman in that fursuit.
And...
Yeah, boy!
No, I'm kind of a big deal in this town and don't think it'd be good if people knew I was a furry.
What's a furry?
Stop! I'm gonna pee my pants!
I think we need to take some time apart and think about what we really want.
Maynard.
So, to reiterate for everyone trying to catch up with reality, yes, this is a Christmas movie where Michael Shannon gets cucked by Ron Perlman, who is a furry, and Christina Hendricks is also a furry, and let me tell you, it gets crazier from there. So Michael Shannon is obviously distraught by this and gets drunk off moonshine, as you do.
Let me ask you a question. This is very important.
Okay.
Do you belong to Furry Sex Club?
Okay, that was actually a funny line. He then gets a wild idea and decides to dress up in a gorilla costume and go out in town and wreak havoc.
What a gorilla would do to a bunny or a squirrel or whatever.
TMI, dude. So now the town is in a kerfuffle because they think it's Bigfoot. Yes, Bigfoot. You bought this movie in the $5 Walmart bin, thinking it's a nice old Christmas movie, and then it turns out it has Bigfoot and furries in it. And a friendly reminder that this is all in the first act of the movie. So now everyone is hyped up about Bigfoot being in their town, and rather than come forward with the truth, Michael Shannon decided to help his town out and add some much needed joy. And also because Christina Hendricks is very much into it.
Seriously, you believe in all that?
Are you kidding me? I love it. It's the most exciting thing to happen in this town for decades.
Because of course she would be. So he continues with his midlife crisis and everyone is having a good time, except for Judy Greer.
But if it's a hoax, I don't think he's trying to be mean. I mean, look how happy he's made everybody.
At first, but the whole town's changed. Now everyone's just dying to get on that stupid TV show.
Yeah, who cares about the town getting industry and an opportunity for employment and everyone not being miserable, and an influx of traffic from outside visitors will probably boost the economy here. It was just so cool when it was just in a downward slump. But now these normies are having a good time. Like, get the fuck out of here, you freaking hipster. Or maybe she's not happy with the people who are selling their Bigfoot merch in the store. Look, it's store brand Chris Hardwick, and I don't really have a funny celebrity comparison with this guy. However, things take a turn when a helicopter comes into town. I wonder who it could be.
There's a rumor floating around there may be a Sasquatch in these parts.
It's Thomas Lennon with an Australian accent! That's the worst kind of Thomas Lennon! So, a reality show star that specializes in hunting Bigfoot comes to town in hopes to hunt and capture the elusive beast. Which means that Michael Shannon must keep on his toes so he won't get caught by Thomas Lennon with an Australian accent. So if you haven't realized by now, this movie is insane. Like, holy moly, you did not expect this movie to take this turn. Can you imagine going to Netflix, trying to find a cheesy Christmas movie to watch in the background while you wrap gifts or make eggnog, I don't know, and then see this and wonder what this is and how did it get such a stacked cast of talent involved, then press play and realize the insanity that's unfolding. Like, you can't be the same person after watching this. You just can't. There's no coming back from this. Yeah, the craziest thing about it is it's actually kind of good. Like, I think I unironically like this movie. Okay, maybe not really, but honestly, this movie actually does have a lot of things good going for it. Despite how weird that the cast is this stacked, they actually do a pretty good job. Like, it would have been easy for Michael Shannon to just phone it in, but he's actually pretty good in this role. It's a little weird to watch him in this because we're so used to see him playing gruff, aggressive hardasses, yet here he's just so content with playing this role for the town, and it's actually kind of sweet. Like, look at this smile. I don't think I've ever seen a Michael Shannon performance where he smiles like that. And it's extremely wholesome. Like, goddamn. The rest of the cast is also pretty good too. Judy Greer is pretty good here despite her not doing much of anything. Ian McShane is basically here to be a shithead, and it's wonderful.
I'm communicating with the Squatch.
By yodeling?
It's a mating call.
Oh, so you want to hump Bigfoot, huh?
Ron Perlman, well, I mean, this is the performance of a lifetime. I guess Thomas Lennon is kind of annoying if you can't stand fake Australian accents.
Caused by the Australian Yowie. I have heard of rare instances where it's been done by its North American cousin, the Bigfoot.
Oi! How ya doing, mate? Let's throw some shrimp on the barbie. Crack open a can of Forster's. God damn it. But even then, he's pretty fun to watch and has some funny moments.
This is dedicated to Nelson Mandela.
The movie actually does have some inspired moments of comedy too.
It's just about the club. I mean, hell, that could have been anybody from the club up in your bedroom.
Thanks, I feel a lot better now.
It's not entirely incompetent like the gut of Christmas movies made right now. It's just trying to make a Christmas movie revolving around furries just cannot work. Like, I'm a firm believer that anyone can make a bad idea work, but sometimes the brain just cannot comprehend something so insane and unhinged that it's hard to really take it seriously. It just shuts down at the instance of saying Christmas and Bigfoot in the same sentence. It's a movie where you cannot take it seriously, even if you tried. It'll be ridiculous as hell. It's like making a movie about the Country Bears ride at Disney, or John Wayne playing Genghis Khan, or a 10-year-old trapped in Robin Williams' body. And I want to remind everyone that all those movies exist. It's just too ridiculous to work. And to be fair, if the movie does commit to being as ridiculous as it could be, then maybe it could work, but I don't think the movie does that. I do kind of like the movie revolving around this premise of a man doing something to brighten up the spirits of everyone in town and people not realizing what they're taking for granted. And to be fair, it's kind of sweet and wholesome and does feel genuine. But then you have these moments sandwiched in between bizarre and out there moments like this.
And then all that chasing the bunny must have made him pretty thirsty because he was out there in our little boy peeing fountain, drinking.
And it just cancels each other out. Plus, it isn't like the entire movie is an undiscovered masterpiece. I'm just gonna say right now, this movie looks like wet cement. You can definitely tell that they were working on a cheap budget. Like, look at this. Yeah, that's clearly them filming in a forest with actual snow. And just to clarify that having a cheap budget doesn't mean that the movie will automatically be bad, as there are plenty of great examples of low budget movies that not only looks great, but also does show clear passion and a strong sense of direction behind the camera. But this ain't it. I'll give the director Seth Hendrickson this. There are some neat camera works here and there. I like this camera pan to the TV. That's neat. But largely it's pretty stagnant camera work and shot composition. There isn't a lot that conveys anything more than the bare minimum. A lot of shot reverse shots. It's not a visually impressive film. And look, I'm not expecting every director to be like a master of cinema. I'm just looking for something visually interesting even if it's not that complex. That's all. It also doesn't help that the lighting makes every shot look flat and fake. It lacks any real texture and makes everything look too artificial. I think this might be the worst shot of the movie because I genuinely cannot tell if this row of people are green screen composited or not. Like, they have this little halo feathering you might get from green screen compositing, but I'm also not too sure too. It looks very confusing. Also, why is every scene in the store have this ugly yellow filter to it? It just does not look good here. Why is it only here, not in the other scenes? Did somebody pee on the reel? Actually, no, I do not want to know. I do not want to know. I will regret knowing the answer. Okay, what else? This isn't really a Christmas movie. It does take place in the holidays. We see some Christmas trees, but it never feels like a Christmas movie. Too much of it is focused on the Bigfoot shenanigans. Actually, maybe that's not fair to complain about. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life doesn't have a lot to do with Christmas throughout the plot. And I guess it is Christmassy enough to pass, sort of. Let me think, what else? Oh, the whole subplot about getting back with Christina Hendricks gets completely forgotten about in this movie. Well, okay, not really. But this whole getting my partner back plot gets completely forgotten about once when Thomas Lennon arrives and is all about Bigfoot hunting. She does appear, mostly because she is horny for some Bigfoot action.
Do you ever, dress up like the animals you're in search of? You know, like camouflage?
Yeah, it's weird that her entire character is basically revolved around being extremely horny and thirsty for some action. And I guess good for her for being sexually open, but it's also weird that she's not given much. I mean, all the supporting characters are exaggerated one-note characters. Ian McShane is the gruff hunter. Thomas Lennon is the prima donna television star. Judy Greer is the girl next door. But like, those are normal and ones that you would expect in a cheesy rom-com Christmas movie. Christina Hendricks, raging sex addict furry, is not one that I expected. And neither is closeted furry Ron Perlman.
You know, I'm kind of a big deal in this town and don't think it'd be good if people knew I was a furry.
What's a furry?
friendly reminder that Ron Perlman helped produce this movie. They do know that not everything about furries are about sex, right? I mean, there is a ton of porn and not safe for work content in the furry community. No. Most people just want to hang out and talk about their favorite anthro characters and other furry related content. Or anything else, since anthros are not on their minds 24/7. I mean, that's what I've heard. I'm not a furry and talk about furry things with other furries. Yeah, I don't really hang out with people. But like, we all know this is a very large exaggeration of furries, right? I mean, do they know that furries don't have sex in their fursuits? They don't wear them that often because they do make sure that that shit lasts as long as they can whenever they go to conventions and whatnot. They don't wear to an Eyes Wide Shut party and have all that bodily fluid get stuck on their suits, if you can catch my drift. Well, I mean, no furry would be caught dead wearing a costume they bought at Spirit Halloween. And even then, with this scene in the fur party, it just seems like they are just essentially rubbing against each other. Oh, did I not mention the furry party scene? Oh god, how could I forget? Okay, so here's what you need to know. Thomas Lennon gets spooked about Michael Shannon dressed up as Bigfoot and messing up with his operation. By the way, they faked the whole Bigfoot stuff for views and ratings.
Right, I'm all packed. We'll get the hell out of here.
You can cut the whole Brock routine. It's only me.
Where's your stuff?
What? The Australian accent is fake? Oh, my god. I've been fooled. But given pushed by his producer, he realizes that this could be his big break into stardom. So he goes out to the woods and teams up with Ron Perlman because it's official police business, I guess. And Ian McShane because I guess he has nothing better to do, and their fight would possibly be legendary. And so all three of them are out in the woods and getting drunk off moonshine. 5 feet apart because they're not gay. When suddenly they hear a noise. It turns out it's a fur meat. This goddamn movie. So they all enter the fur meet. Ian McShane is freaked out not having any of it. Thomas Lennon is strangely aroused by it. And Ron Perlman is embarrassed and uncomfortable being public with furries. All three of which are natural reactions within fur meets. And all the furries are completely high out of their goddamn minds as they act so weird and freaky around these intruders like they're trying to invite them into their cult. But what gets to me is that there are clearly these cheap party city costume actors, but then in the background you can actually see actual fursuits, like the top tier quality fursuits people actually pay good money for. You know, people actually give a shit, and they're just there, in the background. Like, who are these people? Where are they? Please tell me, I have so many questions. Oh god, I'm losing my voice.
A furry is a person. They're people who just happen to like to dress up in furry clothes and rub up against each other. And I'll tell you something else, Bonnie. I'm a furry, okay? And I'm damn proud of it.
I just came to a sudden epiphany with this movie. This is a softcore porn movie. Like, I'm being serious. Seth Henderson made this movie because he's a furry and wants to make a furry porno, but doesn't want to lose all his dignity, so he decided to make this movie with softcore fetish material, and also thought it would be funny to get Michael Shannon and his friends to partake in this weird fever dream opus, but mostly to get Christina Hendricks to partake in his sick fantasies. This is the only possible and logical conclusion. This is basically the furry movie equivalent to Dan Schneider's creepy foot fetishes and all those Nick shows. You cannot change my mind. But anyways, Judy Greer finds out about this ruse and doesn't know what to say, so she just awkwardly leaves work for the day, which is a pretty reasonable reaction. Michael Shannon goes out in the woods to try to spook the boys, but Ian McShane shoots him and is taken to town square to be publicly executed by Thomas Lennon. But Judy Greer basically outs Michael Shannon and everyone is mad at him.
I'm gonna stick a big foot up your ass.
So now the town is miserable and back to being in poverty until Judy Greer decides to guilt trip everyone to helping out Michael Shannon. Meanwhile, Michael Shannon is getting interviewed on the news. Like, Christina Hendricks watches while wearing a bunny glove from her dollar store costume. Again, this movie is softcore smut. Suddenly, everyone in town gives him money, so now his store is saved. Even though that was never part of Michael Shannon's conflict, but whatever.
Maynard Grigger, richest man in Pottersville.
See? Now we can officially associate ourselves with the more famous movie we were clearly riding the coattails off of, even though there is no reason to do so whatsoever. Christina Hendricks tries to get back together with Michael Shannon, and he politely tells her to fuck off so he can be with Judy Greer. How romantic. Thomas Lennon gets outed for being a fake Aussie, and now he no longer has a job, and holy shit, did you just snap his neck? He stabbed his fucking neck! Yeah, try remaking The Odd Couple with Matthew Perry now. And so, with his newfound riches and his girl no longer next door, Michael Shannon opens a Bigfoot museum and the town is saved. Yep, this movie ends with Bigfoot being real. Or it might be another fur meat, but I would like to believe that it's sequel bait for Pottersville 2, Bigfoot's Revenge. So that was Pottersville, and just to reiterate, yes, this is a real movie being streamed on Netflix. And the crazy thing is that despite the weird premise and plot that takes an unexpected turn, it really isn't that bad of a Christmas movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very weird and makes me question not only the sanity of the director and writer, but also my own. But honestly, it's so mesmerizing and it's honest, and it actually does have some decent qualities to it. I actually end up kind of enjoying it and finding it a fun watch on the holiday season. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the director is doing much after this, as his own credit after Pottersville is a short film in 2021 called Let a Little Light Shine In, which I'm not too sure what that is, but hopefully it does lead to more work for him in the future. I'm curious about what he does next, which might be weird after trashing his magnum opus, but hear me out. With something so strange and, well, for lack of a better word, unique as Pottersville, you kind of want to see what more the man has up his sleeves. At least for morbid curiosity. However, what you don't understand is that this man will change cinemas forever. Oh, I see you, laughing at me while you're eating your chicken tenders dipped in barbecue sauce while you're drinking your skim milk, but you do not understand. This is a man who was bold enough to take a stand against the status quo of the movie industry. One who will stand against the gluttony of superhero dominance in pop culture, of vacuous celebrity vehicles, of whatever mind-numbing and insulting pandering teen rom-coms, and to make something new, unique, fresh, and exciting. What Seth Hendrickson created will forge the future of cinema. A new wave of artists that will emerge in the wake of Pottersville and pick up the mantle. It'll be a film movie that future film professors will talk about for years to come. He will be to this new movement what De Sico was to Italian neorealism, what Godard was to the French New Wave, what Coppola was to New Hollywood, what Fassbinder was to New German cinema, or what Van Zandt was to the new queer cinema. It'll be one that Marty would be proud of. It'll one that Christopher Nolan will blush in shame for not making. Kevin Feige will end the MCU because he cannot compete with such masterpieces. Because Seth Hendrickson has created a new cinematic language that will change everything. One where sexuality will be openly embraced. One that will take a look at the harsh realities of American life. One that will let men be who they really are without the fears and shame of judgment or expectations of toxic masculinity. And yes, ones with furries. I anticipate it. Oh god, I can't even finish that sentence. Oh man, do you hate a man that laughs at his own jokes? I do. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. I'm taking a nap.